Okay, hello IP5. Now, you might be a little bit surprised to see me. I need to tell you that Teacher Aaron has left Petai Udom Tuksa. He is not going to be teaching you or anyone at our school English next year. And in fact, I'm going to be teaching you English next year. So, in a bit of a change from me, I'm not going to be the IP3 teacher next year. I've got a new IP3 teacher, and instead I am going to be teaching IP4, IP5 and IP6 English. So most of you I taught a few years ago, and if you thought that you were rid of me and free from me, tough luck. I'm going to be your English teacher next year. So it's been a long few weeks. It's been a long time since you guys were in school last, and what we're going to do today and over the next few weeks, we're going to do some video lessons, we're going to do some worksheets, and we're going to remind ourselves of what you did in IP5 last year. Now, I know that you're about to be IP6, but the next school year hasn't begun yet. We're reviewing things that you did in IP5 with Teacher Phil and with Teacher Aaron. So for the next few weeks, I'm going to be referring to you as IP5, just to make things simpler. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do something that you studied at the start of the school year, back when Teacher Phil was your teacher. So we're going to review the sentence, what a sentence is. Now, those of you who I taught in IP3 a few years ago, we did this a few years ago. So by now you're in IP5, just about to start IP6. I hope that every single one of you knows all this and understands it, because we've done the same thing for a few years now. So hopefully by the time you're in grade 6, and I'll be teaching you in grade 6 English next year, hopefully this is all easy stuff and we won't have any trouble with it. So, what is a sentence? Every one of you should be able to tell me. A sentence is a group of words that tells a complete thought. So, let's look at some examples of sentences. We use sentences every day. Almost anything that you read, that people say, it is an example of a sentence. So, lots of people like to study photography. For my next holiday, I would like to visit China. There are thousands of different species of plants. These are just some examples of sentences. Now, hopefully you all remember that a sentence has two parts, a subject and a predicate. Now again, we did this in IP3 many years ago, so I expect that all of you know what a subject is and what a predicate is. I'm going to give you a few seconds just to remind yourselves what these words mean, and then I'm going to explain it. So, what is a subject? What is a predicate? Okay. The subject of a sentence tells who or what the sentence is about. So, I'm going to give you some sentences, and you are going to think to yourselves what the subject is. So who, what person, or what, a place, a thing, or an animal, who or what is this? Are these sentences telling you about? Okay. The intelligent professor thinks. The intelligent professor thinks. Please tell me who or what though that sentence is about. Okay. The intelligent professor. The intelligent professor is what that sentence is about. Okay. So, next one. Angelina Jolie is a famous actress. Who or what is that sentence telling you about? So, think, is there a person in this sentence? Is there a place? Is there a thing? Is there an animal? The sentence is about Angelina Jolie. Next one. Many young people like to watch YouTube. Many young people like to watch YouTube. Who or what is that sentence telling you about? Okay, hopefully you know. Many young people. Last one. Buddhism is the main religion in Thailand. Buddhism is the main religion in Thailand. So who or what is that sentence telling you about? Hopefully pretty straightforward. Buddhism. Okay. Now, hopefully you remember this from your work in IP4 and IP5. So, the complete subject of a sentence. What is the complete subject? It includes all of the words that make up the subject. So everything that we've just done, we found the complete subject. We found every word that tells you who or what that sentence is about. So the complete subject can be one word or several words. So the intelligent professor thinks. The sentence is about the intelligent professor, and we've got the words intelligent that describes the professor. So all together makes the complete subject. But then we look at the last one. Buddhism is the main religion in Thailand. There's only one word there. So complete subject can be one word or more than one word. Okay. So now we're going to look at the simple subject. So in that simple subject, the simple subject means exactly who the sentence is about. So we look at the complete subject and then we find one word or maybe sometimes more than one word that tells us exactly who that sentence is about. So let's look at the first one. The intelligent professor thinks. Now we know that the complete subject is the intelligent professor. But what is the most important part of that subject? Who or what are we learning about, are we reading about? The professor. So professor is the person, the intelligence describes the professor, but professor is the most important part of that subject. So professor is the simple subject. Okay, next one. Angelina Jolie is a famous actress. Now this one is actually two words because we've got the first name and the second name. So the simple subject is the same as the complete subject here. Next one. Many young people like to watch YouTube. What is the simple subject from many young people? Okay, people. So I could just tell you people like to watch YouTube, and that would make sense. Many young describes how many, and it describes their age. They are adjectives describing the people. So we don't need them as part of the simple subject. Last one. Buddhism is the main religion in Thailand. We've only got one word in that complete subject, Buddhism. So you should be able to understand very easily that Buddhism is also the simple subject. Okay, now we're going to move on to the predicate in a sentence. So hopefully you remember what the predicate is. The predicate tells what the subject does or what the subject is. So we've just spent the last few minutes talking about the subject. You know that the subject is who or what the sentence is about. The predicate tells you what that subject does or what that subject is. So when we say does, we mean like an action. So you're going to be looking for an action verb. When we say is, we mean the special verb be. So is, am, are, was, were, or will be. They tell you what the subject is. So, got some examples. Well, the same examples actually. The intelligent professor thinks. So you should remember what the subject of that sentence was. Now I want you to think, what is the predicate of that sentence? So, the intelligent professor thinks. Take a second and tell me what the predicate is. Okay, thinks. The predicate of that sentence is thinks, because that tells you what that professor does. We've got an action. Next one. Angelina Jolie is a famous actress. What is the predicate? You should remember the subject. What's the predicate? Okay, the predicate is a famous actress, because again, we know that the predicate can tell us what the subject is. Okay, next one. Many young people like to watch YouTube. So what is the predicate in that sentence? We say like to watch YouTube. Last one. Buddhism is the main religion in Thailand. What is the main word in that sentence? In that predicate, sorry, what is the predicate of that sentence? Starts with is the main religion in Thailand. And like the complete subject, the complete predicate includes all of the words that make up the predicate. So, let me just move my screen out of the way for you. Okay, so it can be one word or more than one word. So the intelligent professor thinks. Same as when we had subjects with only one word, we can have predicates with only one word. So thinks is an action, tells you exactly what that intelligent professor does. He thinks. We don't need any more information. Next one, Angelina Jolie is a famous actress, is a famous actress. We've got all of that information that tells us what she is. Many young people like to watch YouTube. We know what they like to do. And Buddhism is the main religion in Thailand. We know what Buddhism is. But we also need to think of what the simple predicate is. So, the simple predicate is the word that tells us exactly what that subject does or what that subject is. So within that complete predicate, we're looking for one main word that tells what subject does or is. So we're looking for action verbs, or we're looking for forms of the special verb be. So the first one, very simple. The intelligent professor thinks. There is only one word in that complete predicate. So the simple predicate is the same, thinks. Next one, Angelina Jolie is a famous actress. What's the predicate? Find the word that says does or is. Of course, is. Simple. Many young people like to watch YouTube. Now, what do you think the simple predicate here is? Like, because it's telling us what they like to do. And the last one, Buddhism is the main religion in Thailand. Again, we have a special form of the special verb be, is. Okay. Another thing that I need to remind you about is fragments. We know that a sentence needs to have a subject and a predicate. But if a group of words does not have either a part telling you who or what it's about, or a part telling you what subject does or is, then we don't have a sentence, we have a fragment. So, was known for being an explorer. That is a fragment, because we do not know who was known for being an explorer. We don't have a subject, we only have a predicate. We only have the part that tells us what the subject is. So on its own, fragment, not a complete sentence. Ernest Shackleton. Hopefully you remember this name from last year from some of the groups that we had for team points. Ernest Shackleton, on its own, it's a fragment. There's no predicate. We don't know what he does or what he is. But we put them together, and Shackleton was known for being an explorer. We've got a subject and we've got a predicate, so it's a complete sentence and not a fragment. Okay, so that is the end of my lecture. Before we go, I just need to explain what you need to do next. So, you should all have access to this worksheet. It says at the top, IP5, English Chapter 1, the sentence. Review worksheet week 1, because this is the first week of our review lessons. Very simple, you've probably seen worksheets like this before. Section 1, decide whether each group of words is a sentence or a fragment. So look at number 1, a world-famous tennis player. If you think that is a complete sentence with a subject and a predicate, then on this line over here, you will write sentence. If you think that the subject is missing, or if you think that the predicate is missing, and you therefore do not have a complete sentence, you will write Fragment. Very simple. Same for questions 1 to 10. Section 2, you read those sentences, and I want you to get a red pencil or a red pen. I want you to underline the complete subject with your red pencil, and then circle the simple subject. So we'll do this together. The best athletes train every day. What is the subject of that sentence? The complete subject of that sentence. Hopefully you understand. The complete subject is the best athletes. The best athletes. So I want you to underline with your red pencil the best athletes. And then, what is the simple subject? What part of that is exactly who we are talking about? Hopefully you know we're talking about the athletes. So with your red pencil, circle that word. Do the same for questions 11 to 15. Section 3 is very similar to section 2, but now we're looking for the predicate, and you will use a blue pencil for this. So again, read those sentences, underline the complete predicate, and then circle the simple predicate. So, thousands of people struggle to get fit. Hopefully you understand that the complete predicate is struggle to get fit. So I want you to underline that with your blue pencil, and then you take your pencil and circle the simple predicate, which is the verb struggle. Okay, hopefully that is all very clear for you. Hopefully you remember this work from your work with Teacher Phil and Teacher Aaron at the start of IP5. Now, next week, we're going to stay with the sentence, but we're going to be looking at the 4 types of sentence. So I hope that you all remember those 4 types of sentence. Make sure you study and review that before our lesson next week. And make sure you do your worksheet and submit it. And that's all we need to do this week. So I hope you're all well. Make sure you all stay safe. Make sure you stay inside. Make sure you wash your hands regularly. Make sure you're not touching your face or your eyes or your mouth or your nose. And hopefully we will all be getting back to normal soon. So I look forward to teaching you next year in IP6. Stay safe, and I will speak to you next week. Bye bye, IP5.